I am not late. I arrive just when I mean to. How's it going? Running just a couple minutes late. It is true. Gonna be flagging to get to the Evening Star. Oh, actually, is that right? Almost on time, yeah, correct. No, I got the quest bestowed, so we're all good. Oh, must meet the requirements. Maybe not. Alright, well, if I need to earn XP to get to level 13, then let me think about that a second. Let me get started, though. Hello, and welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDOstream, youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons/live, and facebook.com/DDOUnlimited. I am DDO's community manager, Cordovan, and I am on Ghallanda with my Max Pew build. It may not be good, but it sure is amusing, and that's sort of the point of it all. I'm going to be eventually flagging for the Update 36 stuff, but it looks like my character is only level 12, so I might have to do a little XP earning today instead. Kind of figure out what we're going to run here in just a second. Welcome, welcome, welcome. In case you don't know, we do have a 30% guild XP boost kicking off tomorrow, running through the weekend. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Looks like someone's got a... Let me actually mute your mic a sec. There we go. Turn you down. Getting a little feedback. No biggie. Welcome. I think... what character are you, Growler? Or what level are you? Yeah, why don't you switch to someone... Well, 9, 10, 11... Yeah, why don't you switch to someone a little bit higher if you got one? I think why don't we head out to the desert? We'll do like the desert walk-ups and things like that. There's some great XP to be had out there, so we'll just tear through that stuff. So yeah, 30% guild renown boost going on this weekend, and on top of that we just have update 36 out. Should be a good time. We're working on a patch before Ravenloft. Work is underway on that, and also work is hardcore underway on Ravenloft itself. Way too early to talk about pre-purchases or orders or when or what have you. So at this point, you know, we just have a lot of work ahead of us in the coming months, and work away we shall. So it should be pretty cool, though. And we will have more information about Ravenloft as we get closer to it later this year. Before we get to that, though, we are going to be doing I guess what's being called a Divine update. Looks like we should... I don't want to commit, but let me commit anyway and be hopefully not wrong. Should have Favored Soul. Should have the domains in before Ravenloft. But we'll see what happens there. No promises. Oh my gosh, he just promised! No, I did not. I am willing to share with you, provided you're not willing to hold me too accountable for being wrong. But that is the plan, though. That is our plan. So, if everything goes well, that'll be what's going to happen here is within the next... Oh, I don't know. Let's say by mid-September, we should have that out the door. So, and we'll see what the actual date ends up being, but that's the idea anyway. So. Cool, I got chocolate chip and peanut butter cookies. How yummy is that? Some inventories out there, and we'll get in. Nice, Titan. Sounds great. Nice, Hephaestus from the beach. That's a great time. That's awesome. We ourselves have had super cold weather the last like 24 hours. Sort of odd. We are aware that the new guild buff icon is disappearing sometimes. Unfortunately, it's kind of a bit of a hacky solution that we put in place to both hide guild buffs but yet not hide a timer. And so I know there's still some kind of work to do there. I don't know what our ability to actually do that work is, though. It's going to be tricky, frankly, to get this all working. Hey, I can now have this on and I'm not running slower. How cool is that? Yeah, we know the Caneth boots of propulsion and stuff are hiding it. We may just have to live with it, because I don't know that without a lot of engineering work that we're going to be able to resolve that, frankly. So, I don't know, we'll see. Nice. If you can qualify for the Boston Marathon, Perky, I will count me impressed. That is some fancy, fancy footwork there. Like I say, it's kind of a hacky solution because we had to sort of fake a guild buff with a weird timer based on the top timer that was available. But we'll see. I know there was some thought about, well, what if we tried to? So, you know, maybe we'll be able to do it. But, you know, you don't have to have the guild buffs icon if you really don't want to. It is sort of optional. I know it's not a great solution, I'm just saying, you know. You don't technically have to. I should really turn off that public guild group leader thing. It's not so much. I mean, it is being hidden on jump abilities, but it's not really a jump ability issue, so long as it's so much as it is the kind of way the tech is working behind the scenes. That kind of guild, or that kind of sort of effect placement, is resetting the guild buff timer icon, kind of hiding it. And it has to be reapplied, but it can't be reapplied unless you go to the amenity bar. Excuse me. Yeah, it is sort of a hacky coding thing that we were like, well, we could try it, see if it works, and it worked, but it only kind of works. But it works for the most part. Like I say, you don't really need to know that. Just stop by your airship every hour, you're cool. I'm just saying, you could. A solution is a $5 watch. A Will-o'-the-Wisp creature companion would be cool. Yeah, that sounds pretty rad. What enhancement tree am I using for the Pew Pew build? By the way, I do have a little bit of a cold, as you can well hear. Looks like I'm Enlightened Spirit. Or no, Tainted Scholar. Now going into Enlightened Spirit. This build is not meant to really be great. This build was a real quickie build that seems fun. And it's fun because I'm going pew pew pew. And that is the extent of my build strategy. Is to say, how many pews can I have at one time? I'm going to get a Lantern Archon to add to yet another pew. And someone was saying there's one... Oh, I could do the... I could be a Dragonborn and take like the Lightning or something like that to do yet another pew. But this build started before the Dragonborn, so I'd have to respec to do it. Which I should probably do. I only have enough... I'm basically a Warlock. I only have enough Artificer levels to be able to use a Rune Arm. So I'm not like an actual Trapper or anything like that. This is a fun build. It's a fun, goofy little build. It doesn't really matter. You know. I'm not saying it. Although it's actually kind of interesting, because of the Battle Engineer changes and some of that stuff, this build is perhaps, if I wanted to respec, maybe more viable than it started off as. Because we've done some things in recent updates that actually maybe make this a almost legit build? I don't know. I wonder if someone could actually put together a max pew build that doesn't totally suck. Okay. Oh, we got it. I could actually, I mean, I haven't really spent the time to really put this thing together. I'm sure, like you say, with Battle Engineers updates, I think there's some things you could do there. I could kind of figure out what the proper ratio of Warlock to Artificer could be. I would definitely, you know, I could respec into a Dragonborn to get yet another pew. And I know I can cast Lantern Archon from a scroll, but I don't really feel like stocking up on the scroll right now. So, the long term, I'll have the ability to do that. Ooh. Couple of champs. That's true, the spell penetration in Dragonborn is pretty hot. You're not wrong.
This is the final resting place of a once great hero, whose remains and legacy long since forgotten.
Yeah, I'm going to be on Ghallanda next week as well. Correct. Hey, Drac. By the way, Drac, you said something I saw on the forums today, how your most recent DDO Players news talks about your plans for Gen Con. As you know, I'm going to be at Gen Con. We do have our Friday night gathering for buffs, so if you are going to Gen Con, you should definitely check that out. But also, Drac, get in touch with me. I want to know what your plans are, see if we can hang out or something like that. Hey, Will, Ray, Chris, Mark, over on Facebook. Gen Con hype. By the way, if I don't know how many BDO players are going to be at the They Might Be Giants concert on Thursday, but if so, we should hang out as a group if you want to. Kind of fun. Methinks.
Toward you from the wreckage of its submarines.
I'm helpless. Helpless me, will ya? Cool. Sounds great, Track. For those who are going to Gen Con who, for some reason, don't know, our Friday night gathering for buffs takes place every Friday at Gen Con Friday evening, usually after the exhibit hall closes, around dinner time-ish, and it goes fairly late into the evening, usually. And it's just at the Omni Severin. And it's a casual meetup. It's nothing, like, super official, although it's more official this year because I'm going to be there with swag. But, you know. You should go. If you're at Gen Con, you have no excuse not to go. Why not? It'll be fun. Yeah, we call it the Severlin instead of the Severin, because, you know. It's decent XP for this, by the way. Anyone able to unlock? Ain't me. Yep. Unlocking doesn't add to my pew. Okay, let's see, where are we at? I think back is actually the way to those tombs. So I want to head back and take out those last 3 sarcophagi.
Contain the mummified bodies of soldiers and elites.
Or, I mean, servants' coffins.
A hidden mechanism triggers the stone wall to slide open. The burst of flame ushers the arrival of Ulzarian shrieks its death cry, cracking the stone with the unholy sound.
Alright. So what are your DDO plans? Anyone got anything cool going on? A lot of Update 36, a lot of good loot, hopefully.
Not the physician stirs from his resting shambles toward
Cool. Nice. +3 lesser heart, earning enough favor to buy duel of the
physician.
Underdark. That's cool. Good luck on all that stuff. Let's do Wiz King. We'll go in on normal though, just so that we can tear through it, and hopefully we'll get lucky and get it on the first try.
This impressive structure houses the tomb of the Wizard King.
You know what? We could still do hard. Streaming TR Warlock, cool Psychosis Patient. When we're done here, feel free to check that show out.
You enter the tomb's antechamber. Find it occupied by a
Wiz King is such good XP grind, especially if you get lucky. Sometimes, you know, you gotta do all 3. Sometimes you don't have to. Look at that XP. A Nectar, especially if you haven't actually gone in and done it either, it's pretty great. So, in terms of wilderness XP as well. What class would I suggest for a beginner? Melee preferred. So the easiest class, in my opinion, to play in terms of build complexity is just a basic old fighter. You can't go wrong with a high strength, high con, like two-handed weapon fighter or whatever. It's all easy, you know? That said, you know, there are, quote, better options if you want to be a little stronger, but if we're just kind of learning the game, I still think basic fighter is good. If you want a little bit of self-healing, the advantage might go to, say, Paladin, because you can still do some good fighting, but you also have some good armor class and self-healing and all that sort of thing. But if you're especially, I agree, melee for a very, very good beginner, or just a good, just plain old, hey, how do I move around? What do I do? Can't go wrong with the... Come, traveler, you will learn to call this place home like I have. Artificer's a great choice too, although that is not a free class, so that may not be right for you. I guess I can't go wrong with fighter. Just bang around on a fighter for a while, see how it goes for you. Barbarian's good too. The only reason I was thinking fighter over Barbarian is a little bit more complex and their enhancement trees are a little more complicated. So I don't know. But yeah, it's fine. Yep, Warlock Artie. Pew pew pew. Max pew build. Except I haven't quite maxed my pew yet. And now that we have Dragonborn, I have another pew to add. But that's the idea.
Oh.
Dope. Ranger is, I mean, that's the thing about DDO, and that's one of the greatest things about it is, I mean, the question of what should I play to start with as a melee, there's a ton of options for you. There really is. You know, Ranger, Fighter, Barbarian, Paladin, all good choices. It depends, I think, in part on how familiar you are with 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons. The more familiar you are, I think the more risk or more complex builds you could be doing. But if you're like really truly a D&D noob or new player and you know just kind of want to figure out how to play the game, I still like to say, oops. You're on your own. Alright. Anyone got a high enough intelligence to use this? Cool. Yay! Whiz King, first off. Great. So don't die. Or block our exit, I mean. See, every now and then you get lucky on Whiz King. Looks like someone already got that. Yeah, nice Reaper XP. So if you didn't catch our recent interview with DDOcast, one of the things we are looking to do is address the issue of people who are struggling to get enough Reaper XP on the endgame. You know, there are quests, there are options in that, but it's perhaps not as ideal as, say, tearing through low-level stuff. And that's something we want to do. I don't know quite what the solution's going to be. I think in part it's just going to be jacking up the Reaper XP on the high end. But there may be some kind of bonus or something we do to help balance it instead. And I'll leave that decision up to the designers. But it's something we are looking at. So that hopefully, for those who want to stay at level cap, you know, and get lots of Reaper XP, hopefully we'll have a solution for you in the relatively near future. Enfeeble me, you jerk! It's not very nice. I can't even use my thing. Oh no, I'm so enfeebled. We thought about the idea of Reaper XP pots, but So far we haven't gone that route. We're preferring to just let regular XP pots do the trick. Yeah, I think, Ranger would be a fun build as well. The only complexity of a Ranger is you're going to need to know enough about how, say, both melee and ranged work to get yourself by. So again, if you've got a basic knowledge of D&D, Ranger would be good. Otherwise, like I said, basic fighter is, I hit things, and then they die. Can't go get much more complicated than, or less complicated than that. Hey, does someone have a lesser or anything you can toss me, otherwise I gotta wait this out.
The Wizard King collapses into a moldering heap of ragged cloth and dust.
Alright, there we go. Cool, thanks.
With careful fingers, you take the ancient scrolls and place them into your pack.
Nope, not doing all the towers.
This
I am
impressive
tearing through the XPs as the goal.
Wizard King.
Alright, gonna head over to the Scarrow area to, like, purge the Fallen Shrine. Or whatever that one is called. Yeah, Dwarf Barbarian's a cool idea. Honestly, if you are a brand new player, I know this is going to be a controversial statement. If you're a brand new player, don't be afraid to just roll up one of those pre-made builds that are available at character creation. They're not going to serve you long term, but for, the first month or two that you play the game, be perfectly fine, because that'll allow you to learn the sort of all the keys and buttons and what have you, systems and that you need to know. And meanwhile, you can just sort of play a build that'll be good enough. And then once you feel a little more sure of yourself in terms of the gameplay and that, you can roll up a more strategic build. Well, that's, your mileage may vary. If you've got some D&D skill in that, then don't do that. But they're fine. It's true. My very first character, the old Beefheart the Vegetarian, was indeed just a pre-made fighter build. And then I ended up respeccing him several times, of course, but, those first months, it's like I need to learn how to WASD better. You know what I mean? It's fine. Hey, Ravenwolf, good to see you here. Is it working as intended that crafted stat damage weapons don't work with druid animal forms, pet collars, and thrown weapons? No. I don't think so. I think it's probably just a coding issue that we're going to have to fix. Now, that kind of druid exploit build thing, that is absolutely not working as intended. But that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about the Caneth crafted stat damage weapons, just specifically, there's something with that property where they're not working. Well, with druid animal forms, pet collars, or thrown weapons. There are craftable rune arms in the DDO store. Otherwise, you just disjunct them and... no, actually, they're already disjuncted, right? It's been years since I crafted a rune arm. I did it back when you could put attack bonus +4 on them. Which was a really nice property to have on the rune arm. Perhaps too nice, which is why they got rid of it. Made me sad. Alright. 3, 2, 1, pull. Good enough. Yeah, I would actually need to brush up on how to craft a rune arm myself. I think they come pre-disjuncted, so it's just a matter of putting the shard on. Alright. Oh, Master Craftsmanship to lower level the rune arm by 2. Hand of the Tombs level 7. Sounds good. In case you haven't guessed, I have run this quest before. This is actually, if you're looking to just build up your kind of low-level plat supply and what have you, It's a pretty good quest for it. A lot of good kind of chests that you can sell for junk. And there we go, level 13. Sweet. I got a few minutes here. Oh yeah, that's fine. So what do you think? You think we got time to tear through Offering of Blood?
The bottom of this immense cavern is home to the deadly Volkurin.
Red Piety running a bard right now at level 4, not impressed. Wants Swashbuckler. Any suggestions? My suggestion is stay Swashbuckler. Swashbucklers are still extremely powerful, in my opinion. Perhaps you're not seeing the benefit at level 4 quite yet, but once you get single weapon fighting and get up your attack speed, I have tended to side with the Rapier on my Swashbuckler. I know that there are several viable options, but I just like the super crit bonus of a nice fat Rapier, and then, you know, the enhancement that lowers your crit chance by 1 until you crit. Lots and lots of crits. Your mileage may vary, but maybe at level 4 you're just not seeing it yet. But Swashbucklers rock, so you should be okay.
For one hoping to end their existence, a ledge this high up is the
Notice, I actually managed to give myself Featherfall. Hello. My son's with me. Yep, what's up, bud?
When do you be done?
I'll be done in just a little bit here. Yep. Wave to the camera there, bud. Yep, my son's with me. His grandpa's coming to visit today, so we're all excited. Gonna have fun. It was like, your video game is boring. The wisdom of the 5-year-old, huh? Yeah. It's not as exciting as Minecraft, I guess.
This enormous crack leads to the Volkur spiral, site of many ritual sacrifices. Your dangerous climb ends high above a large chamber, the site of many ritual sacrifices to Volkur. A golden vessel atop the altar catches your eye.
Otherwise, he actually is going to be going back to his mom's this weekend. I'll be sad to see him go. But it happens right before we release Mordor on the Lord of the Rings side on Monday. In case you don't know, Lord of the Rings is hitting a huge milestone on Monday for their 10th anniversary and what have you. We're going to Mordor. Big expansion. And then once that's out the door and hopefully in good shape and what have you, we'll be turning full attention to Ravenloft. Right now, the DDO team is doing a little bit of patchwork. Like I say, there is some kind of a patch in the works before Ravenloft, but then a lot of the content folks have already started doing a bunch of quests. My understanding is we have about 4 expansion quests that are in some level of, yeah, it's getting pretty close to complete. And of course we're going to be having a lot more for Ravenloft, it being an expansion after all. But once Mordor is out the door and ready to go and everything's looking good, you know, what have you, the plan is to shift some of those resources actually over to help with Ravenloft. You know, on the engineering side, some of the landscape work that we're going to be doing, you know, public areas and what have you. So in the same way that some of the DDO peeps like QA right now is actually working, the DDO QA team is actually working on helping the Mordor team out in terms of kind of last minute QA and polish and all that sort of thing. They're going to be helping us out on the DDO side once Mordor's out the door, hopefully next week. What level is Ravenloft going to be? Yeah, it's going to be probably around 10, well, I don't know yet, but it'll be 10-ish, somewhere in the range of, I'd say, going to fall between 7 and 15 on the heroic side, and be, you know, full up level cap on the epic/legendary side. I think the heroic still is a little unsettled, because it really kind of depends on what we want to do. But I think the intention is to do something around level 10. Give or take. Will there be a pre-purchase of the new expansion? Yes. It's going to be a little different than maybe what we've done in the past, though. The plan is to not have a, you know, 6-month pre-purchase window like we did for, you know, Shadowfell and Matu, for example. I'm guessing IX was cool. Oh no. It'll probably be similar, a little bit similar in time, in terms of timing, to the way we've done Mordor. Although, again, we're going to be kind of, what do they call it? Armchair quarterbacking Mordor, you know, once it's out the door and everything, and see if any changes need to be made for Ravenloft. But the likely scenario is it'll be a much shorter pre-purchase window. But there will be a pre-purchase window, somewhere in the range of a couple weeks. Probably a couple weeks to a month. Yeah, that is actually, Darkhaven, one of the main motivators of why we're kind of thinking level 10-ish on Ravenloft, is because there is a nice gap there. Plus, thematically, we have a fair number of undead quests that, you know, if you look back in the old Necropolis and everything, that really start at 5, and then 8, and then 11. So people are, you know, it's neither too high nor too low level for heroic level undead quests. It's a pretty good fit, frankly. So I think we'll probably be doing something along those lines. VIPs will need to purchase the expansion. Red Piety. This is in line with what we've always done for expansions. Yep. We're looking at the idea of maybe another permanent hireling type, but nothing to announce at this time. Clearly that might make some sense for, if you look at our previous expansions. Ah, spectral gloves. Nice. Cool, got the spectral gloves. Sorry, I'm stuffy. I'm sorry to sniffle all through your live stream here. It's kind of no good, but... We don't have anyone to actually do these traps, do we? What's up, bud?
Population is a bunch of people.
Oh, yeah?
That's what population.
Yeah, that's right. Population does mean a bunch of people.
Yeah. What's in the edge?
A bunch of traps. We're fighting a bunch of elves called drow. Watch, there's a bunch of electric traps here. Yep.
What do electric traps do?
They zap you.
And you die?
Yep. Okay. It'll be just a little bit, bud. There we go.
Where does the electric come from? When does the electric come?
Alright.
Are you going to get up there?
Not that way. Oh man, I need some help.
Doing it.
Yeah. Getting there. Alright.
When you're there.
Ah!
No. No. Don't go near the electric areas.
Okay.
Because that's dangerous, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
I go to electric areas.
Okay. So.
So be safe.
Alright.
Oh. And that.
Ravenloft, set for October-ish. We have not yet announced a release date for it at all. It's way too early to talk about a release date for Ravenloft. Clearly, you know, there's a time frame that makes a lot of sense for Ravenloft, but we have a lot of work to do. And we're already at the end of July, so no promises. No idea yet. It'll be released when it's ready. What is that? That was a wall of fire, wasn't it?
Yeah, try going there.
Yeah, we are going to go in there.
What happens if you go into fire?
It blocks your way, so you can't actually go in there right now.
Go in there.
We will. We can actually... Yeah, we can actually run straight through the door. No need to fight all these spawns.
Oh, what's in there?
It's a cave entrance.
Are you going in the cave entrance?
Yep, that's what we are doing.
What is it?
That was one of my friends in game. He helped me out. Yeah. So am I a Warlock Artificer? Yes, I'm a Pew build. Max Pew build. That's going to wrap it up actually for the live stream here, so I'm going to have to take off in a couple minutes. Not Maybar, but the Night Revels event is set for later this year. I don't know what we're going to be doing for it. There's some thought about what kind of update we can do while we're in the middle of doing Ravenloft. I think it's going to be a little lighter than the last couple of years, but we are going to have something hopefully for Night Revels this year.
What's that rock behind you?
It's a pet rock. I have a pet rock. Yeah. And Mimic Hunt, for sure. We actually are going to be doing the Mimic Hunt this year. It's all but done, with a few little things left to hook up. So that's going to be pretty sweet. And we'll have more information about that as we get closer to it. But it's coming up pretty soon.
Try going in that fire.
Okay. It doesn't hurt you at all. A weekend bonus is a 30% Guild Renown boost. And that starts tomorrow and then goes through Sunday. Alright, let's see. Any other final questions? Can I show my build explained fast before the end? Alright. 2 levels of Artificer, so you can have Rune Arm proficiency, so that you can pew with your Rune Arm. The rest is all Warlock, so you can pew with your Eldritch Blast. When I get high enough for when I've got scrolls, I'm going to have the Lantern Archon, so I can add a 4th pew. And now that we have Dragonborn out, I'm going to probably, TR, I guess, if I hit level 20, and then become a Dragonborn to pew with my Lightning Bolt at the same time. I'm also looking for other ways to pew at the same time. Now, the trick is not multiple shots, but multiple shots simultaneously. So, for example, additional ways to use my arms is out because I already got the 2 pews with my Eldritch Blast. And I'm just kind of working on how many pews I can do. So, Zivon, I can't say much about the new enhancement tree because the teaser that Sev did on DDOcast, we're in a very early state on the Vistani Knife Fighter. I don't think we even have a tree in design quite yet. At this point, it's really just we've got some cool animations and a plan to do it. So once we get a little bit closer to like what that tree is going to look like in that, we can hopefully give a few more teasers out there. Are Rune Arms good for single target or area of effect? Generally single target. I think there are a few that maybe are okay for area of effect, but generally I go for single target on all my Rune Arms. And yes, I need to work on my saving throws. Well, this character is not meant for excelling in strategy. This is not a build that is meant to do good. This is a build that is meant to max pew. The one and only rule is to go pew and see how many other pews I can do simultaneously. Everything else, stats, proficiencies, ability to go through a dungeon, all secondary to the pew. So there you go. Alright, thank you very much for watching the weekly Wednesday Lunchtime live stream here on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I really appreciate you joining me. We have got Gemini 166 starting at 5 o'clock Eastern today. And you can find her full schedule over on the Twitch page. I'll be back next week on Ghallanda. And I will be back also on Friday for Friday afternoon right here on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Have fun, everyone, and I will talk to you again soon. I will get you guys a code in chat as well later on today.